Okay, and then the last one's called crimps. Okay, and so, boy, there's a lot a person could talk about regarding crimps. Now, on my on the Hidden Structures channel, under card handling for math nerds, I think it's a playlist. I have a video on breather crimps. Those are powerful. A breather crimp. Well, a breather crimp is just a special kind of crimp. Okay, but crimps come in different varieties. Okay, so how this works here is it's dealing with the geometry of the card, but in a different way. Because right now we've been focused on the geometry, essentially two-dimensional geometry, like which way is it pointing. Well, now we're focused on the third dimension. We're focused on the z-axis here. Okay, so how this would work is, so let's say they choose a card at random. Maybe they choose this one right there. So, they pointed to that one. So you're like showing it to them like, showing it to them like that. Now, while it's up in the air and they're focused on that, so you have the cards kind of like this. This is what you see, and they're looking at the front. What you can do, this is just one example, you can use your thumb. Watch my thumb down here. Sorry, I'll point it down. Use your thumb to just put a little bit, not too bad, a little bit of a bend. Can you see that little bit of a crimp? I don't know if you can see it, maybe. So a little bit of crimp in it. Maybe we want it even a little bit more pronounced, but don't fold it or anything. Okay? So I know that this crimp card is above theirs. That's the point, right? The crimp card is above theirs. Okay? So what that would mean then is if we do any kind of mixing that doesn't change the relative order of the deck. So like I've mentioned before in other videos, the Chardelier shuffle does that. Now, of course, cutting the cards will do that. That won't change which cards are neighbors, immediate neighbors to each other. Okay? Or a wonderful one is the Chardelier shuffle, the top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, bottom to top. Okay, but you can see right there. Can you see the crimp? Can you see the little crimp right there? Yeah, so you can see the crimp. So it's not too hard to spot. And if you think about it, see with my thumb here, they can't, the spectators over here, right? They really can't see that there's anything suspicious. That looks fine. Okay, so if you kind of have the crimp on this end, that's helpful for avoiding detection by the spectator. Okay, but you can do any kind of mixing that doesn't change the relative kind of position of things. You can't, since I know where it is, you can get a little bit braver and cut off packets, right, that are going to be randomly stacked. So this is all giving the impression that the cards are being like randomized. Now from here, I probably want to just put that one down at its own. Now it doesn't matter where that whole group of cards goes. The ones that are neighbors are still neighbors, right? So that's just one of many ways of kind of preserving the proximity of the crimp card with the card of interest, with the spectator's card. Okay. And so, so in an effort to, well, there's just so many things you can do with this, but if you spread this out like that, or maybe we need to spread the other way, actually, because the crimp's on the right, right? Crimp's on the right. Okay, so I don't know if you can notice. It's hard to tell on the camera there, isn't it? Because of your angle. Let me just show you this here. So this is what I see. I don't know if can you see anything or not? Can you see that edge? This card has kind of a little bit of a bend to the edge. It's not very pronounced, but I can certainly see it from where I am. I don't know. Heck, this is hard to show on this down-facing camera. Okay, so just from spreading them out, I can spot it right away. Okay, so let me spread them out again. And I'll just point to where it is. And then you just have to try this for yourself, and you'll discover that, boy, it stands out. Yeah, this little guy I can see just fine. And this would be a reason for not putting, you need to put a big enough one in that you can see it, but not too big that the spectator goes, what happened to that card? Right? So you could do the same sort of thing, kind of find the card, kind of use your special trained senses to kind of narrow down where the card is. Or what you could do too is, the card's right here. Let me just kind of make it clear. That's the crimp card. So what I could do is I could gather everything above the crimp like that. So I know which card is theirs. It's this one. It's the one below it. Okay? And you could make it out that you're just kind of breaking the packet in half or what have you. And so now you have their card on top. Their special card is on top. Okay? And I think we showed it to you. Yeah, we did. So from here, I mean, once you know where their card is, then you're you're in control of a lot, because of course you could do a riffle shuffle that leaves the top card where it is, and that's mixing the cards, and in the mind of the spectator, there's no way that anyone would be able to find that card now, right? But we know it's on top because the riffle shuffle was done in such a way that I'm leaving the top card on top. Okay, so from here, however you want to kind of finish, you could have the spectator tell you when to stop. You can do some like packet creations, kind of put packets out like this. Now you have to realize the spectator is saying stop, stop, that kind of thing. And then maybe put one over here. That's probably a smart thing to do. Now the special card's right here. Okay, put one right there. And then from here you can go, boy, you were given a free choice to kind of stop wherever you wanted. When I did that thumb riffle, we broke it up into all these little packets, and the stopping place was completely decided by you, which is true. Now the thing they don't realize is that we know their card was on the top of the deck, and we've kept track of that little first packet as to where it was put. So we know their card's right there. Okay? And so at this point you could do a magician's force if you want. I've shown that before. I have a video on that. So look, we have an odd number. If you remember, if you have an odd number of choices, then you as the performer need to go first. If there's an even number of choices, you have them go first. Okay, so what does that mean to go first? So what that means is I put my finger on two piles, and then the spectator's free to discard one of those. Maybe they get rid of that one. Now the spectator puts two fingers on two piles somewhere. So maybe they go with these two, and then so you're free to discard one of them, and you'll get rid of that one because this is the one you want, right? And then the spectator, and then you put your finger on two, so maybe you put them on these two, and it doesn't matter which one the spectator gets rid of because neither one of those is the one you need. And then maybe the spectator puts her fingers here, so you get rid of that one. Actually, it doesn't matter. And then you put your fingers right here. Spectator says, "Oh, get rid of this one." And then technically, this spectator would put their fingers here. This is the last two piles. And then you get rid of one of them. Of course, you'll get rid of the one you don't want. And then here you go. You've gotten all the way down to a single pile. And the piles were determined by randomly stopping at certain locations, completely decided by the spectator. And then we did this whittling down to a single packet, and it's brought us to this point. And where has it brought us? It's brought us to the spectator's card, which at this point, before you turn this over, you know this is the spectator's card. Okay, that's important to clarify. But you don't know what it is. And the spectator knows what their card is, but of course they don't think it's that one. So when you reveal this, you can say, boy, does that card look familiar? And, hopefully the spectator will be honest and that's my card, And if they lie, you can say, oh, golly, for some reason, I was really thinking that was your card. Where did I mess up? And, the more honest among them will kind of laugh and go, well, it is my card. I was just joking around. You found it. And then the next question they'll have is, how did you do that? How did you do that? Okay, so anyway, this idea of crimping allows you to keep track of the location of a certain part of the deck or a single card. I just use it to mark the spectator's card, which is right below it, right? So that's a wonderful way to kind of use the quote geometry of the cards, namely a little bit of a bend in the Z direction here to spot it. Okay. And if you want to look at breather crimps, I have that separate video, and those are really powerful. They allow you to randomly cut to any card that you want, like maybe that's an ace of spades there. And you're able to do it reliably because of what is called a breather crimp. So anyway, maybe check that one out as well. So thanks for watching, and take a look at some of the other videos on the Hidden Structures channel.